Hi, it's Helen from Crochet Mantra. Today's video is going to be part of a series of videos that I thought I'd make, which I think will be really interesting for you. It's about what inspires you to learn how to crochet. Why do you want to do it? What do you need? So I thought, with all these questions, I thought I had those questions when I was thinking about it. What actually was it that inspired me to want to learn how to crochet? And I think it was several things. I would look at YouTube, I would see on my Facebook stream and on my Instagram streams, all these beautiful, beautiful projects that people were making. So I thought I'd quite like to learn how to do that. So my first question to myself was, what do I need to learn how to crochet? So I bimbled down to the local shop, the craft shop in my local town, and I had a look. And well, there was a million different crochet hooks. There was every type of wool or yarn that you could possibly imagine, from cotton yarn and silk yarns that are so thin you'd embroider with them. So I had all these questions, and I had no idea where the first place to start would be. So I went and had a browse through YouTube, had a look and looked at some beginner videos and thought, well, this is probably something I could do, but I need to learn a bit more. So I did a bit more research and I discovered that there is actually a hook that is in the center of the spectrum that will do most things with a double knit yarn, which is a nice thickness. It's kind of, let me get you one, this sort of thickness. So I bought myself a ball of double knitting yarn and I bought myself a hook. My first hook that I bought was just a grey hook. And I actually, by mistake, bought a 6mm hook, which seemed to be a little bit bigger. I don't know if you can actually see that. Than I needed. But I thought, what the heck? I'll go home and I'll try it. So I went home and I followed diligently these YouTube clips that I had found, and I found I could do a chain, and I then went on and started to do single crochets and started to look at how to do double crochets, and I began to expand my repertoire. So I thought I'd make this video for you to discuss with you some of the things that are good starting points and some of the mistakes that I made. Which I made a lot, I have to say. The first big thing that I would say to you when you are going out to the shop to look for any yarn to begin to learn how to crochet is, do not buy black. Big mistake. When you're crocheting with black wool, you just, even if you have the best eyesight in the world, you absolutely cannot see the stitches when you're learning. You just can't see. You can see on this ball of wool how compact it looks. And when you're trying to figure out a stitch in a row where you have to put your hook next is really tricky. So I would suggest that you start off by using something which is a double knitting weight and is a light colour. Just to begin, just to learn how to do the stitches and how to actually begin to see what your stitches are looking like, and to practice with the tension, and to start looking and working out what you're actually going to do and in which order. So that was the first thing I did. I quickly figured out a 6mm hook was too big. And the reason that I say it's too big is that it makes the stitches bigger. so they're lacier. They have bigger gaps in between each stitch, which results in your garment or your hat or your booties or your blanket or whatever it is you're making, being the wrong size, it makes it bigger. And equally, if you use a smaller hook, for instance, this one is a soft touch hook. I particularly like the soft touch hooks, but this is a 4mm hook, so it's 2 sizes smaller. Using a 4mm is okay once you've got your tension sorted out and that your stitches are the same size each row. But again, it makes it a different size. Whatever it is you're making, it will make it smaller. So the best way to go about this is to look at your ball of yarn, and on the back of your ball of yarn you have lots and lots of information on here. And if you look here, there's a picture of some knitting needles, and below the knitting needles it will say, or above, it will say 2 numbers most of the time. The top number says 5mm and the bottom number says 6 UK. I'm having to squint to see this. And then underneath the knitting needles, let's see if you can see this, is a crochet hook here. And that says 5mm. It recommends a 5mm hook to get the tension right, and so that whatever it is that you're making will be the size that it says either in the YouTube clip or whether it's on from a pattern. So it's a good place to start, to have the right size hook for the right size yarn. The next thing I thought about when I was beginning to learn and look into what I needed to crochet appeared to be these. Very important. When you start to make something, you always have a beginning end of yarn and you have an end piece of yarn, and you need to be able to cut that away from your ball of yarn so you have a tail, and you need scissors to do that, which sounds really obvious, but actually until you actually think I need a pair of scissors, you'll find you'll get to the end and you won't have a pair. So you need to go and get your kitchen scissors from your kitchen and use that. Alongside with the scissors, and you've got your ends either side of your garment, or many if you're changing colours, you need one of these. And it's a darning needle with a big eye. There it is. So you can fit most yarns through that eye. And this you weave in, and we will visit how to finish off your projects in another episode of these videos. This series of videos is, including this introduction, going to be 10 videos long. And I will include links below in the description box. And at this point, I'd like to say, please subscribe to my channel. I'm quite new at making videos, but I think I've got something to say, and I think I've got something to teach. So please subscribe. You can revisit the videos then as often as you like and perfect the stitches that I'm going to teach you. But this video is primarily about what it is you need. Another thing that is really important when you're beginning to consider learning to crochet is light. Don't sit in the corner of a dark room crocheting. You will give yourself terrible eye strain and you'll wake up with headaches the next morning. Stitch and crochet under a decent light. I cannot recommend that enough. I learned through experience. I couldn't figure out why I was waking up every morning with a blinding headache. So light. Hand in hand with that, excuse me, is comfort. Sit in a comfortable chair. Try and keep your posture correct. If you slouch over, you honestly will lose time when you're crocheting. You'll forget that you've actually been there for 5 hours and you'll look up and you will become really stiff and sore and achy, and it's just not a pleasant experience. So find yourself a comfortable chair. If you're doing something that grows, you can sit in a nice chair and have it over your lap, so it acts as a warming blanket at the same time. Put a cushion behind your back in your lumbar region to keep your back comfortable. Another really important thing that I found when I was gathering my supplies together to try and prepare for my new journey was I found one of these on the internet. What's this, you might ask? Right, it is the best thing since sliced bread, I think. What you do, instead of having a loose ball of wool that bounces around the floor and gets covered in dust or animal hairs, or it just rolls under the couch, these are fabulous. Let me show you. When you start with a ball of wool, you pull this off, it's magnetic, and you put it into the middle of the ball of wool and you poke it all the way through so that you can see the end here, and it sits nicely. You see, it's perfect. And then you simply hook it onto your magnetic clasp, and whoa, what a discovery. And you can sit that across on the table or even on the floor. And it's amazing. So you have your yarn and it just unwinds itself as you use it. Let me show you again. Look. So imagine you're working, and it just spins itself round gently, and it keeps your yarn clean, dust free. If you have pets, we have a Devon Rex cat, so they don't molt, but she seems to put dust everywhere. I don't know how, but anyway, it keeps it clean, and it just means that you never have to pull on your ball of yarn, because pulling on your ball of yarn will actually tighten your tension and your stitches will begin to change shape. I think at this point I might show you my little pot of hooks here. Wow. Oh, there's another pair of scissors in there. That's a stitch marker. So when you come to counting rows and you need to remember where your row begins, if you're doing a circle, that's really good. They're like little plastic paper clips to mark your stitch, and we will go through those in the series. But there's some beautiful hooks you can buy. Look at this one. It's a bamboo one with the most stunning bead on the end, with just little roses painted on it. You can go from tiny weeny hooks. This is a 2.5, and they do go smaller and bigger than this. So you can see all the differences. You get soft touch hooks, which I prefer, rather than the metal hooks. You get all sorts of different styles of hook. Here's another ergonomic hook, which I like. This is a 3.5, and they clearly tell you on the actual video, on the actual hook itself, the size that you're using. This is one of my favorites. So that's what I would do. I would go onto Amazon or eBay or anywhere like that. I would recommend, really, buy yourself a set of hooks. It seems that you can buy 2 sets of hooks. One starts at the very tiniest of hooks up to about the middle. And then the other set seems to go from about the middle size hooks, so from double knitting, upwards to about an 8 or a 9. So for really chunky wool. it's just good to have them. And then when you are out shopping, because you will become a yarn addict, you can buy whatever wool happens to catch your eye, and you're pretty sure you'll have a hook to match. Another big issue that I think I should talk to you very quickly about is get creative. That's what inspired you to do this, to make things, to create your own incredible articles, items of beauty. Enjoy what you're doing. Please follow this series. I think I've given a little bit of a brief outline on what it is you need. So go get yourself a ball of wool. Go and get yourself a hook. Please don't buy black. Buy a light colour just to practice on. In the series of videos that we'll be following, we will be doing 10 stitch square swatches. So you can perfect, and you can make them bigger or smaller once you know what you're going to do. And you can begin to perfect your stitches and your tensions. We'll go through slip knots, single crochet, double crochet, half double crochet, terminology, treble crochets, and then we'll go into some stitches like V stitches, shell stitches, stitches that you can then begin to create things, and you will have the skill to be able to use these stitches together and in different combinations and make great things of beauty. I love it. I have gone from following patterns, I've gone from following YouTube videos, and I actually have begun now designing my own. So I'll have little clips of different parts of things that I'm making. My own design at the moment is called Around an English Country Rose Garden. And I am doing a video for that. It's a CAL, which stands for Crochet Along. And that will be a weekly video where you can do 3 to 5 rows, pretty much, each week. And you will end up with a mandala blanket that will fit on a king-size bed. It's a thing of beauty. So I'll put some links to that here when I've made the videos for it, which won't be long. New videos are released every Tuesday. So please, 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 please subscribe. Please hit the bell. Please follow my videos, and let's get creative together. See you soon. Bye.